In the name of God the Creator, God the Redeemer, and God the Sustainer, please be seated. Martha is grumbling. She is resentful. She is angry that her sister is not helping her. She feels like it is not fair. We can all relate, right? Martha is not celebrating the fact that the Son of God is in her house. She is not behaving like Abraham in the Genesis reading. He was deeply aware of the blessing of God's visit and joyfully and graciously provided for his guest. But not Martha. Martha is not in tune with the presence of God. She is tuned into her resentment. She is self-oriented, not God-oriented. Her words to Jesus demonstrate this. Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to help me. She is so me-centered that she assumes that Jesus is on her side and will do what she wants him to do, send her sister to help her. Don't we all do this? We are all me-centered much of the time, unable to even notice when God is in the house. There is an absolutely wonderful book written by a humble French monk in the 17th century that invites us to find God in our daily chores. The book is called The Practice of the Presence of God by Brother Lawrence. It opens with these words: Lord of all pots and pans and things, make me a saint by getting meals and washing up the plates. Martha didn't have this book to learn from, but we do. It's an important Christian spiritual classic, as relevant today as ever. Every page of this little book is filled with the love of God. Brother Lawrence was aware of the sacred nature that exists in everyday tasks. Grumbling is very destructive. Grumbling belies our connection with God. Grumbling is like cancer that can invade a family or community, destroying it with ill will. If one person grumbles, it can turn others against one another, and soon all mutual love is lost. Grumbling is infectious and can turn an entire community or family negative. Grumbling is very me-centered. I'm not happy. It's not fair. What about me? Saint Benedict writes a lot about the evil of grumbling in his book for monks. He has zero tolerance for grumbling. It's taken so seriously that grumbling is grounds for excommunication. Monks are to cheerfully execute their tasks, to be patient amid hardships and unjust treatment. This seems quite countercultural to our modern ears. Nowadays, everyone wants to complain and be heard. A better way is to express one's needs and issues with dignity and clarity. It is not wrong to stand up for ourselves. We can all relate to Martha, caught up in her resentment and grumbling, and we can all relate to Mary, sitting at the feet of Christ, listening to every word. I think that we know what it feels like to be both. One feels yucky and one feels amazing. One is out of communion with God and one is totally in communion with God. One is distracted and one is fully present. Being distracted and caught up in our little worlds is almost like an addiction. How do I feel about this? How do I like that? What did so-and-so just post on Facebook? What should I comment? Even when we're alone, we're distracted. There is a new term for this: continuous partial attention. It prevents us from giving our full attention to any one moment. We are all too caught up in multitasking. Young people sit at the dinner table texting, talking, and eating. We need to unplug. We could learn from our Jewish Orthodox brothers and sisters who don't even turn on a light on Sabbath. What about that? We can go through life distracted and grumbling, or we can go through life, or what we have ahead of us, in calm communion with Christ. We can feel harried and resentful, or peaceful and content and loving. These are very realistic choices. Wouldn't it be great to spend more of your life in communion with Christ? Wouldn't it be wonderful to put God in the center of your life, even as you wash the dishes? How do you receive the presence of Christ? Are you too busy to notice, or do you sit in reverence at his feet? We know that God is love. So anytime we are loving, we are in communion. When do you feel most aware of God, which is love? When you're with your grandchildren? When you're in nature? When you're laughing with your beloved? Savor these moments and let them grow. These are the sacred moments to cherish and relish. These are in communion with divine love. It is a choice we make every minute of our day. We can live aware of God's presence, or we can live caught up in our me-centeredness. We can seek God in all things, or we can be swept up in our likes and dislikes, our endless judgments running through our minds. We can turn toward love or towards life's distractions. What if you let go of your grumbling and resentments and tuned into God's presence every day of the rest of your life? What if you engaged each moment as an opportunity to feel Jesus abiding within you? What if you sought to live the rest of your life in communion with Jesus? It is exactly what Jesus asks of us.